All right, I just want to get it out of the way that I really love the Bad Bunny halftime show, but I don't think that you could engineer a more divisive piece of media that leaves people believing that there is a sense of unity formed. Um, so, my goal for this, I'm going to talk about going inside the MAGA mind, thinking in terms of the moment that we're in, what it means for an artist like Bad Bunny to be at the Super Bowl, and the types of repercussions that could happen as a result of this. Um, so, first of all, I want to say I really enjoyed the halftime show. I thought it was a really beautiful message of unity and love, and um, especially imagining like the show from the child's perspective that he gave the Grammy to. It was seems like such an uplifting and empowering message um, for those that are receptive to the show in the first place. Um, and just on a cinematic level, you know, um, it was really beautifully put together. I love the camera shots, the colors, the choreography. Like the whole thing was um, really impressive. I like this a lot more than the halftime shows that I can remember in the past few years. I think including um, last year's show with Kendrick, um, which was great in its own ways. But I think for some, this one was just like fun, but also had a great message and man, when he spoke to the camera too, that was a really powerful um, uh, message to get across. I had to use some of my high school Spanish to get through that, but I kind of got the gist of it. Okay, so, but I think what's important is that this resonated with me because I was compatible with the message. I have um, Latino friends. Like I'm not um, really invested in like what I think the Super Bowl should be. I don't have a lot of like resentment around that. Um, at the same time, I think for those who think that this um, this Super Bowl, the halftime show represents the unity and love. Love is greater than hate that it says it does. Um, I think I'm afraid that we could be sleepwalking ourselves into a really dangerous situation of complacency of the actual danger that and violence that could lie ahead for our country and for each other. So let's kind of take this from the perspective of someone who is um, a part of MAGA or at least believes in the white identity of this country. You could, this is kind of a thought experiment for everyone to just imagine, like, first of all, what percentage of the country do you think is like true, diehard MAGA, and what percent of this country do you think maybe is not that, but certainly has views that America is a predominantly white nation or a white Christian nation, and have strong feelings about that identity and would act on it. Um, I would say that this group makes up a good portion of this country, and certainly a portion that, you know, on a large scale is not very must be dealt with. It's not ignorable. Um, I want to say that I'm not condoning or even agreeing with the views like some of the racism that comes out of this movement or any sort of prejudice. I'm simply I'm trying to just diagnose exactly what is happening, and that means calling it like it is. And I'm by trying to understand their mind, I'm not condoning it. we have to deal with the mind or the emotions of this group of people because we do live in very close proximity to each other in the same country. Okay, so with that out of the way, I'm gonna ask everyone to please grab your little MAGA hats and let's put them on, and let's imagine what this show would be like for someone of that perspective. So some of the thoughts and feelings that might be going through your mind, right? So you believe that America is a white Christian nation, and you believe that these cultural events are not just American, but they need to reflect historically white American values, like WASP values. These people, you might believe that the elite cultural agenda has been in favor of erasing the white identity. And so you're furious that you've been erased and supplanted by minorities. You've also been told that this country is being invaded by Mexicans, by Latinos through our open border. And they're coming in by the millions, and we are at risk of losing this country. We might be close to a majority-minority country at this point. So, overall, what you consider to be American identity, that is being erased. Because if American identity is white identity, that is being erased. And finally, for you, historically, you believe that the Super Bowl is the pinnacle of America. It represents what America is. We come together to celebrate America, and historically, that was a reflection of a lot of WASP culture, white culture. Recently, it has shifted towards Black culture, other minorities cultures within the country. And there has certainly been backlash to that. I remember there was a lot of conservative backlash to the Shakira and J-Lo halftime show because of how lewd it was, or they've been this barrier of sexuality or race has been pushed for decades at this point. So you're as a MAGA person, you are already primed, to just feel like this country is under attack. This country is under invasion. Your culture, your norms are under attack. Okay, so I want you to embody all of this frustration, feelings of erasure, and let's watch the halftime show again. I'll link it in the description, and you can come back to this point. Okay, so welcome back after you've watched the halftime show. I'm curious what you guys think, and please let me know in the comments what came to mind for you. This is the most striking points that came to me from this mindset. So first of all, it needs not be said, but the entire show is in Spanish. So this event that I believe as a MAGA Republican is my event, my white culture event. It has been fully invaded. Exactly in the way that I believe that my country is being invaded. And one of the main points is, at the end when Bad Bunny is charging at the camera in football gear, but he has that bulletproof vest underneath, right? And then there's just a horde of Latinos behind him waving these flags of countries that are not the United States. And he's listing off all of these countries saying that they are America. America is Nicaragua and Cuba and Argentina and Brazil and all of these places that I believe these folks are coming from. he's saying that America is all of the Americas. Um, but from this perspective, I'm not thinking about it like, we are. It's not like a unity thing. Like we are one. Like let's think bigger than just these borders. Like we are all together as one America. But it's actually like I'm thinking about it like these folks are they are claiming my America. They are on my doorstep. They are charging the camera at the halftime show. Um, and so at this point, it's just playing into all of the invasion feelings that these folks have. Latinos are taking our jobs. They're taking over our culture. The most American event is in Spanish now, and they're claiming that um, you know uh, they're claiming that America is um, is actually South American or is Latino. So from this mindset, I'm so fucking angry that I don't give a shit about if the billboard behind him says the only thing stronger than hate is love, because the act of aggression was choosing him to be in the Super Bowl. My mind already shut off. From this perspective, this feeling of invasion, when you feel like someone has just barged down the door of your home, you know, uh, your home being the Super Bowl or any of these other cultural events, you immediately kick into, fight or flight. Your empathy just completely shuts off. You bypass language, and so at this point of feeling under attack, these folks are not receptive to the messages of empowerment and love and acceptance, and self belief and just fun. Like it's far beyond that. It's completely shut off. There's no room for it. Okay, I want to round this out by I think I played the part very well, but this is not a perspective I hold. It's just very like yeah. This is not a perspective I hold. I'm just doing the thought experiment of what if I believe what would it be like for people who believe this, right? Um, and if you think about the type of energy um, that is encouraging people to enlist in ICE, right? We need to protect the homeland. Um, this feeling of invasion is only exacerbated by this event. It doesn't matter what the content of the show was. The act of putting the show there in this way will be read as proof of the invasion, proof that this is why I need to join ICE. This is why I need to conduct more raids, have more violence in the streets, etc. At the same time, this show is also incredibly risky because for the progressives who are able to tap into the meaning of the show, they will come away with, you know what, you're so right. Love is the answer. Look at how beautiful it is that we have a Puerto Rican speaking Spanish, singing in Spanish, the most popular artist in the world, performing the Super Bowl. That's unbelievable, and all of those messages will land. This could lead to some complacency, right? Unity has been achieved. We're good. We're good, guys. Like everyone can go home. We're good. Like the pinnacle of the success was having the message shouted at the Super Bowl. So yes, I'm concerned that this is going to build complacency from those who don't like the violence that's going on in this country, who who actually do believe in this message of, love and acceptance and all of this, and complete agitation and moral license to go and join ICE for the other side. Going back to that feeling of invasion, since the ICE raids started, the approval rating for ICE has gone down drastically. People are not liking what they're seeing on whole. I personally view this not because the empathy towards those who are being deported has necessarily changed, but I think it's the reckless violence, paramilitary operations, and insecurity in your own cities. This feeling that anyone could be pulled over, this tension in the air, state governments feuding with the federal government. I think that feeling of invasion by an outside force, by a paramilitary group, led to this fall from approval. Okay, great. ICE led to feelings of invasion, which changed the approval rating against them drastically. Okay. All right, let's do the same. Instead of progressives believing that ICE is a form of invasion on cities, from this putting our MAGA caps back on, Latino in the Super Bowl halftime show, charging at the camera, is invasion. So it's, the approval rating is going to go down for them too. I'll also add that this time right now seems like a very malleable time for American identity. I just mentioned the ICE raids, but we're also in the middle of all of these Epstein files coming out. And en masse, a lot of people are going through shock right now. Their worldviews have been completely shattered. Maybe people are questioning what it means to be American. What does America represent? And an invasion of a halftime show from this perspective, I think could push the, these kind of closed-minded people back into the arms of Trump worship, of what is comfortable. The progressives were watching the show and loving the message, but the right-wing mind never got to the content of the show. They weren't able to see it. We all live in our own realities. We all live in the reality that our mind and our emotion and our nervous systems allow us to see, or what our beliefs allow us to see. I think the ultimate goal, it would be great if the entire country could feel that empowerment and love, that message of empowerment and just fun and party and all of that, in a way that could everyone could feel empowered, and maybe the situation could be de-escalated. But the aesthetics, who was giving the message, how it was given, did not lend itself to that. Something that's always stuck with me over the last decade is this concept of deep canvassing. Like I mentioned, when people feel under threat, their mindsets are not very malleable. And there was this concept of deep canvassing introduced for political groups that are looking to understand and sway people's perception of an issue, maybe to gain more empathy. And this comes down to more or less spending time with the person non-judgmentally, in a way that makes them feel safe. Asking them what they believe, why they believe it, and repeated exposure. And through this repeated exposure and empathy and safety that you create, you allow people to allow themselves to change their mind. It cannot be forced upon them. It's unfortunate that this show did not change anyone's mind. It empowered many people, which is great, but it also fanned the flames for those that are most primed to act on those feelings. So this is a call for all of my progressive friends. I don't want anyone to be lulled into a false sense of security about how teed up things are right now. And just because you were receptive to the show does not mean a large portion of this country feels under attack by it, and importantly, is willing to act on those feelings. So I don't, my goal is to tell people to not be deluded about the danger of our time. And my only advice is to practice deep canvassing in all aspects of your life. And if the message that Bad Bunny was showing at the show resonated with you, then try to think of how to package that to the MAGA people in your life, to make them feel safe enough to change their mind. So let's stay the course with those who were not able to see the show for the message that it was, and make them feel safe enough to actually view it.